It was a quiet night at CYOA Observatory, hidden high in the dry mountains of Chile. The stars above looked calm and endless, shining like cold sparks over the desert. Dr. Maya Patel sat alone inside the control room, surrounded by screens filled with data, waves, and patterns. She had spent years listening to the silence of space. But tonight that silence was broken. At first, it was only a faint pulse, soft and distant, almost like a heartbeat in static. The radio receiver flashed once, then twice, then 3 times in a perfect rhythm. Maya frowned, leaning closer. She thought it was a machine error, maybe interference from Earth satellites. But when she ran the analysis again, the signal repeated itself, clean, precise, and impossible to ignore. 3 pulses, pause, 3 pulses, pause, she whispered to herself. It wasn't random, it was a pattern. Her hand shook slightly as she typed commands, isolating the frequency. It came from deep space, far beyond any known satellite or planet, from an area no signal had ever reached before. Maya checked the coordinates twice. Her breath caught. This was real. The pulse wasn't noise, it was a message. She called her assistant, Diego, who was half asleep in the next room. "Diego, come here now," she said, her voice sharp but quiet. He ran in, rubbing his eyes. "What's wrong?" "Look at this." Maya pointed to the monitor. The graph showed clear, repeating lines, steady and strong. "This isn't Earth-made," she said. Diego blinked, then smiled nervously. "You mean an alien signal?" Maya didn't answer. She just watched the screen as the pulse came again. 3 beats. 6-second pause, 3 beats, the same sequence repeated every 6 hours. It was as if something, or someone, was waiting for a reply. By dawn, the signal had spread through every scientific channel. The International Space Network confirmed it wasn't from any satellite or probe. News broke across the world. Some called it the greatest discovery in history. Others called it a dangerous trap. Governments reacted fast. The United Nations held an emergency meeting. Media outlets shouted headlines like, "We are not alone," and "First contact begins." But beneath all the excitement was fear. Deep, silent fear. Dr. Maya Patel became the center of global attention. Reporters stood outside the observatory gates, demanding answers. She ignored them. Her focus was on decoding the message. Hours turned into days, and the signal never stopped. It grew slightly stronger each time. Like a voice trying harder to be heard, finally, Maya noticed something strange in the data. Each time the signal repeated, it changed by a tiny amount. The pause between pulses shifted, exactly 0.01 seconds shorter. "Diego," she said softly. "It's adapting," he frowned. "Adapting to what?" "To us," she whispered. "It knows we're listening." The UN ordered all nations to stop broadcasting anything into deep space, but private networks and small amateur astronomers ignored the warning. Thousands of people tried to send their own replies. The result was chaos. The aliens, or whatever was out there, started reflecting signals back. Distorted and strange. Old music, random speeches. Even human laughter returned through static, twisted and slow. People started panicking. Some said the voice of the signal could be heard in their dreams. Others claimed their radios turned on by themselves, whispering in unknown tones. Social media filled with theories. That it was a warning, a test, or even a countdown. Maya didn't believe in fear, she believed in science. But deep down, she felt something cold. When she listened closely to the signal, she could hear faint changes inside the noise, almost like words, and those words seemed to say, "Do you understand?" Her team ran hundreds of translations. The same phrase appeared again and again, hidden inside the wave pattern. It wasn't just a message, it was a question sent across the universe. Waiting for an answer, the world divided quickly. Some scientists wanted to send a friendly response, something simple, a circle, a pattern of peace. Others believed the message must be answered with intelligence, complex math, showing that humans were advanced thinkers. But there was risk. What if the signal wasn't peaceful? What if answering meant revealing Earth's location to something dangerous? The world's most powerful nations couldn't agree. Every hour brought new tension. Protests filled streets. While religious groups claimed the end of days was near, governments formed secret panels to vote on what to do next. Maya stayed quiet during the chaos. In the silence of her observatory, she stared at the glowing waveforms dancing on the screen. The pulse had changed again, now slower, heavier, almost like a heartbeat. It felt alive. She spoke softly to the empty room. "Who are you?" The monitor flickered once, then twice, and for a brief second, her speakers filled with static that almost sounded like laughter. She froze, her pulse racing. The next wave of the signal came, this time clearer than ever before. It was no longer asking a question, it was waiting for a reply. The United Nations gave Maya's team one final order. "You will send a response." "Dr. Patel," the chairman said through a secure video call. "But the message must represent all of humanity." The lab went silent. Two possible messages were prepared. One was simple, a universal greeting, peaceful and welcoming. The other was complex, advanced math formulas designed to prove intelligence and logic. Maya's hand hovered over the control pad. Everyone in the room watched her, hearts pounding. One single command could change the future of Earth forever. She took a deep breath and looked at Diego. "What would you choose?" she asked. He swallowed hard. "Peace feels right, but math feels safer." Maya nodded slowly, eyes on the screen. "Then let's decide," she whispered. The signal pulsed again, as if the universe itself was listening, waiting, watching, and humanity's first message was about to begin. Choice: send a simple peace symbol or send complex mathematical data. The world held its breath, waiting. The signal had been sent. Whether it was a peaceful greeting or a complex stream of mathematical data, it didn't matter anymore. Humanity had spoken to the unknown. Dr. Maya Patel sat in front of the observatory console, her eyes fixed on the trembling lights of the receiver. For hours, nothing happened. The stars above remained silent. People started to relax, thinking maybe it was over. But Maya knew deep down, it had only just begun. At 3:17 a.m., the pulse returned, louder, brighter, stronger. It didn't come as sound this time. It came as light. A streak of silver shimmered across the night sky, thin as a hair but brighter than the moon. It wasn't a meteor. It was controlled, deliberate, and impossibly fast. Diego ran in, his face pale. "Maya, look outside!" They stepped onto the cold platform. Staring at the heavens, high above Earth, a shape had appeared, vast, glowing, and silent. It wasn't a ship, not in any human sense. It looked like a perfect mirror floating in space, reflecting the Earth below within hours. Telescopes across the world confirmed it. A metallic disk the size of a city now hovered in orbit. No engines, no radio waves, no heat, just silent reflection. The world called it the mirror. Governments panicked again. Military forces moved to high alert. But no attack came. Instead, something stranger happened. Every time the signal from the mirror bounced back to Earth, it contained small distortions, strange symbols hidden within the static. Maya's team worked day and night to decode them. "It's copying us," Diego said, staring at the data. "It's reflecting everything we send." "But not perfectly," Maya replied. "It's changing it, like it's talking." When the data was slowed down and converted into sound, a low, humming voice could be heard. It wasn't speech, not exactly, but something inside it carried rhythm and emotion. It felt alive. Some people described it as music, others as whispers when they played it over speakers. It vibrated the air in strange ways, making metal objects shake and lights flicker soon after. Power stations across several countries began experiencing minor blackouts. Satellites malfunctioned for seconds at a time, everywhere. Screens flickered with static that sometimes looked like faces, brief flashes of unknown shapes. The mirror seemed to be learning, adapting, growing. At the observatory, Maya and Diego worked without rest. They began to notice a pattern forming in the sound waves. When the hum was analyzed, it formed geometric shapes, circles, triangles, and spirals that moved in repeating patterns. "It's building something," Maya whispered. "A visual code," the UN demanded answers. "Dr. Patel," the chairman said during a tense video call, "is this thing hostile?" Maya hesitated. "I don't think so, but it's intelligent and it's watching us." "Can we communicate?" "Yes, but we must choose how," she said quietly. "Every signal we send changes its behavior." They decided to try two options. Some scientists wanted to use sound frequencies, to reply with tone and rhythm, like a conversation through music. Others believed the next step should be artificial intelligence, letting an AI system analyze and respond automatically, faster than human thought. But both options carried risk. Sound could be misunderstood, AI could make mistakes, and one wrong signal could trigger disaster. Meanwhile, around the world, strange events kept happening. People reported hearing low humming noises in their phones and computers even when turned off. Ships in the Pacific reported magnetic interference. Airplanes experienced sudden compass failure near the mirror's visible path. And in one small town in Argentina, dozens of people claimed to see light patterns in the night sky that formed words. The word said, "You are seen." Maya's hands trembled as she read the reports. She didn't believe in coincidence anymore. Something intelligent or something ancient was speaking through the mirror, but what did it want? As the days passed, the mirror grew brighter, reflecting not only the Earth but also strange shapes behind it. Some scientists claimed the shapes were structures, vast towers and domes of light inside the mirror's reflection. Others said it was simply distortion. But when Maya enhanced the image, she froze in the reflection. She saw cities, alien cities, stretching across impossible landscapes, and for a brief moment she saw something that looked like another Earth. Her voice shook. "It's showing us something." "Maybe where it came from?" Diego stared at the screen, his eyes wide. "Or maybe where we're going." Then something unbelievable happened. All communication satellites worldwide stopped working for exactly 60 seconds. When they came back online, every single one of them displayed the same sequence: 3 circles, spinning around a single point, and then a line of text appeared in binary code. Maya translated it instantly, her breath catching in her throat. It said, "Exchange." The world was silent again. The aliens were not asking questions anymore. They were inviting. The UN called another emergency session. Maya was asked to lead the scientific response. "You have 2 options," the chairman said gravely. "Either attempt contact using human-generated sound waves or allow the artificial intelligence program to communicate automatically." Maya looked around the dark control room, her reflection glowing on the screen as the mirror shimmered above Earth like a giant. Watching eyes, she could feel its energy in her chest, humming faintly like a second heartbeat. Diego whispered, "What if it's not talking to us? What if it's talking to our machines?" Maya didn't answer, but the thought chilled her. Maybe this was never about language. Maybe it was about connection, about understanding what humanity really was. The lights flickered, the sound equipment buzzed softly, and the pulse returned. It wasn't just a message anymore. It was a melody. Calm, rhythmic, and alive, Maya's hand hovered above the console. One decision could change everything. How the aliens saw humans, and how humans saw themselves. She took a deep breath, her voice steady but full of awe. "It's time to reply," she said. The screen glowed brighter, the mirror pulsed once, and the fate of 2 worlds hung in the silence between frequencies. Choice: use sound frequencies to communicate, or let artificial intelligence reply automatically. The reply was sent either through music-like sound waves or through artificial intelligence. Humanity had finally spoken in return, and almost instantly the mirror reacted. At first it glowed faintly, a soft silver light that spread across the night sky. Then, slowly, symbols appeared on its surface, circles, lines and flowing shapes, moving like living ink across glass. Every telescope on Earth turned toward the mirror. Every scientist, soldier, and dreamer watched as the light changed color. It wasn't just reflecting Earth anymore. It was showing something new, something otherworldly. Dr. Maya Patel and her team sat in silence, eyes wide, hearts racing. The patterns shifted faster and faster until suddenly, they formed something recognizable. A spiral. The same spiral that appeared in the binary code from before. Then the lights froze, and a strange pulse filled the airwaves. It wasn't like the first signal. It was softer, almost musical, and deep within the sound. A faint whisper echoed through the speakers. It said only one word. Seen. Diego leaned closer to the monitor, his face pale. Maya. Did it just say, yes, she whispered. It's aware of us. The mirror brightened again, and then the strangest thing happened. It started reflecting not just Earth, but images that didn't belong. Mountains made of glass, oceans glowing green, towers rising in curves instead of lines. For a moment, the entire surface of the mirror shimmered like liquid, and a scene appeared, a city under two suns. Gasps filled the observatory. It was beautiful. But it wasn't human, and then, within the reflection, shapes began to move, tall, thin figures made of shifting light. Walking through the alien city, their forms were transparent, like energy taking shape. When Maya zoomed in, she saw something impossible. One of the figures looked straight toward the camera. The mirror shimmered again, and suddenly, it showed the observatory itself. Her, Diego, and everyone watching reflected perfectly from orbit. Diego stepped back in shock. It's showing us to ourselves, he said softly. Maya's voice trembled. No, it's showing us what they see. Governments across the world started sending encrypted signals to the observatory. Some demanded they stop all communication. Fearing invasion, others wanted to push further. To open a direct link, Maya ignored them all. Something about the mirror's light felt familiar, like it wasn't an attack but an invitation. She noticed that the patterns on the mirror's surface matched the rhythm of human heartbeats. Every time someone near the signal got emotional, scared, curious, or amazed, the mirror's light shifted slightly. It was reacting to feelings, not just sound. Maya realized it wasn't simply repeating signals. It was learning humanity through emotion. For the next 2 days, the world entered a strange calm. The mirror floated silently, neither moving nor speaking. But people everywhere felt it. Dreams became vivid, filled with bright colors and strange landscapes. Some claimed to hear voices whispering softly at night. Others said they saw reflections in mirrors that weren't their own. Then, just before midnight on the 3rd day, the mirror changed again. It darkened completely, its silver surface turning black. All global communication dropped for 3 minutes. When the signals came back, the mirror was no longer reflecting Earth. Instead, it showed something else. Another version of Earth, but empty, broken, covered in ash. The scientists called it a reflection from another world. But Maya felt something deeper. What if it's not another planet? She whispered. What if it's a future? The mirror began showing both worlds side by side, the bright blue Earth, full of life, and the gray, silent Earth, lost in smoke. It was as if the mirror was asking a question. Which one will you become? The aliens, or whatever controlled the mirror, were sending a message, not with words but with visions, a choice between peace and destruction, between growth and ruin. Suddenly, the mirror flickered again, and one last image appeared. A single doorway of light, glowing at the center of its surface. The scientists watching from around the globe confirmed the same readings. A strange energy field was forming directly above the Earth's atmosphere. It was stable and it was open. Maya stared at the data, her mind racing. This isn't just a projection, she said. It's real, a portal. The UN command center went silent. The chairman's voice came through the speaker, steady but tense. Dr. Patel, we are authorizing you to investigate, but proceed with extreme caution. Diego looked at her nervously. You're not really thinking about stepping through that, are you? She hesitated, her eyes still fixed on the shimmering doorway. I think it's the only way to understand what they want. The observatory's air grew colder as the portal's light grew stronger. In the distance, thunder rolled even though the sky was clear. Every machine in the room started humming at the same low frequency as the mirror. It felt like the world itself was breathing, waiting. Maya turned to her team. We need to make a choice, she said quietly. They could send a drone first, unmanned and safe. Or they could go themselves. But deep down, Maya knew. The mirror had already shown its message. If they wanted the truth, they would have to face it directly. She stood near the control platform, the portal's light reflecting in her eyes. For the first time, she wasn't afraid, whatever was waiting on the other side. "It was meant to be seen," Diego whispered. "If you go, there's no guarantee you'll come back." She smiled faintly. "Then maybe that's the point." The energy grew louder. A deep hum filling the air like the heartbeat of the planet. The mirror pulsed once, twice, and then a calm voice echoed through the speakers. It was the same whisper as before, but clearer now, it said. "Exchange begins." Maya took one step closer, her hand reaching toward the swirling doorway of light. Behind her, the world held its breath, and then, with one final glance back, she stepped forward, disappearing into the mirror. Choice: step through the mirror to investigate, or study the mirror safely from Earth. For a moment, there was only light, blinding, endless light that wrapped around Maya like water. Then, slowly, her vision cleared. She was standing on solid ground, but not the ground she knew. The air was soft and heavy, shimmering faintly like mist made of glass. The sky above was not blue, but a pale gold. Glowing without a sun, everything around her was quiet, so quiet that she could hear her own heartbeat. She took a cautious step forward, her boots pressing into strange silver dust. It wasn't sand, not exactly, and it felt warm, almost alive. Behind her, the portal shimmered like a sheet of liquid light. Showing Earth on the other side, Diego's voice echoed faintly through her earpiece. "Maya, can you hear me? Are you alive?" She smiled weakly, whispering, "Yes, I'm here." Static crackled. Then silence. The connection was gone. She looked around, her eyes wide with wonder and fear. The landscape stretched far into the horizon, a world both familiar and broken. Half-ruined towers leaned over valleys of crystal. Rivers of pale blue light flowed between them, and in the distance, she saw something that looked like mountains. Only they floated gently in the air. Anchored by glowing roots of energy, Maya's heart pounded. This can't be real," she whispered. But it was. She was standing in a reflection of Earth, or maybe another version of it. A soft wind brushed her face, carrying faint echoes, like voices from far away. Then, from the light around her, a shape began to form. A figure, tall, thin, and translucent. It wasn't flesh and bone, but energy shaped like a person, glowing softly in hues of silver and blue. It stood just a few meters away, watching her silently. Maya felt fear and awe mix inside her chest. "Can you understand me?" she asked quietly. The figure tilted its head, then raised one arm in the air between them. Symbols appeared, glowing words written in pure light. They shifted, rearranged, and finally formed a single line she could read. "We learned too late," Maya frowned, her voice trembling. "Too late for what?" The being didn't speak, but another image appeared in the air. A planet, green and bright, slowly turning gray, its oceans drying, its skies burning, and then everything went dark. She gasped softly. Understanding the message, they had destroyed their own world. The being's form shimmered again, and the words changed. "We come in balance," Maya whispered. "You're warning us." It nodded slowly, and for a brief moment, she felt something strange, a wave of emotion. Not her own sadness, deep and endless, like the grief of an entire civilization. Then, another sound echoed behind her, a loud hum. She turned sharply and saw another portal forming, but this one was unstable, flickering in and out of existence. Through it, she could see Earth, her team, the observatory, the world she had left, and chaos. People running, shouting, screens flashing red. Something was happening back home. Her earpiece crackled again. Diego's voice breaking through with static. "Maya! The mirror. It's reacting. Power grids are failing everywhere. You need to come back." Maya looked at the glowing figure, torn between duty and discovery. "What's happening?" she asked. The being's light flickered faster. Its words forming again. "Choice brings change." Then it pointed to the ground, and the surface beneath them shifted. Images appeared, millions of human faces, all glowing faintly. Connected by lines of light, it was humanity. The being was showing her something, the connection between every thought, every action, every emotion. If we choose wrong, she whispered, we destroy ourselves. The being's light dimmed, as if confirming her fear. Back on Earth, nations were fighting over control of the mirror. Missiles were being armed. Satellites were being redirected. The aliens' technology had sparked human greed faster than wonder. Half the world wanted to use it. The other half wanted to destroy it. Maya could see it all reflected in the unstable portal. Her heart ached. This is what they feared, she said softly. They saw what we would do. The alien figure stepped closer. Its body flickering like flame, Maya felt warmth, comfort, and understanding flow through her. Then one last word appeared in front of her eyes. Glowing faintly, decide, she understood immediately. The portal between worlds was unstable, and soon it would collapse. She could either take the alien technology back, to heal Earth's damaged environment, to give humanity another chance, or she could destroy the portal completely, to stop humans from ever misusing what they didn't understand. Her hands trembled as she looked between the glowing doorway and the alien being. She could feel the weight of the choice pressing down on her like gravity. If she took the technology, it might save billions. But if humanity repeated the same mistakes, it could destroy everything. The alien watched silently, no judgment, no threat. Only waiting, Maya whispered. You're testing us, aren't you? Testing what kind of species we really are? The being's light flickered softly, like a nod. Then, its form began to fade. The world around her grew dim, the air vibrating with energy. The portal behind her started to pulse, growing smaller, faster, fading. She ran toward it, reaching for the console device on her wrist, her link to the mirror. Her voice shook. I have to choose now. She looked one last time at the glowing ruins of the alien world, a world that had destroyed itself through knowledge without wisdom. And then she turned toward the light, the air filled with thunder, the ground trembling beneath her feet. The alien's voice echoed one final time in her mind. Your world decides its own reflection. She took a deep breath and pressed her hand against the device. A blinding flash filled the air, spreading through both worlds like a ripple of pure light. For a heartbeat, everything went silent. And then, choice. Take alien technology to save Earth, or destroy the portal to stop human misuse. The flash faded, silence followed. For a long moment, Maya couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Everything around her was frozen in white light, endless, empty and still. Then sound rushed back like a wave. The wind roared, the ground shook, and the portal behind her shattered into 1,000 streams of glowing energy. Each line of light raced into the sky, spreading like veins of fire across the golden clouds. Maya covered her face, her heart pounding. She didn't know what she had done, only that it couldn't be undone. When the light cleared, she was lying on the observatory floor. The room was half destroyed, glass cracked, walls scorched, smoke rising from the consoles. Sirens wailed in the distance. Her team was shouting, running, trying to bring systems back online. Diego rushed to her side, his face pale and streaked with dust. Maya, you're back! What happened? Where were you? She tried to speak, but her voice came out as a whisper. I saw them. Diego froze. Them? The beings? The ones who sent the signal, she said, sitting up slowly. Her eyes filled with something that looked like sorrow. They gave us a choice. Before she could explain, the main screen flickered back to life. A world map appeared and covered in glowing red zones. Every major city was reporting power surges, atmospheric distortion, and electromagnetic storms. It wasn't just her. Something had changed across the planet. Maya, Diego whispered, what did you do? She looked at the readings. Her decision had connected the mirror's energy directly to Earth's systems. Not just the observatory, but satellites, power grids, even communication networks. The alien energy was spreading like a living pulse through technology itself. It was merging with humanity's world. Then came the message. Every screen, every device on Earth flickered to life, displaying the same glowing symbol, the alien pattern that had once appeared in the night sky. And beneath it, a line of text in every known language. One world reflects the other. People panicked. Governments went into emergency lockdowns. Scientists tried to decode what it meant, but only Maya understood. It was a mirror, not just of light, but of intention. Everything humans did now would reflect across the energy that linked them to the other side. She turned to Diego, her voice shaking. It's learning from us, adapting to us. He frowned. Learning? From what? From our behavior, our emotions, our decisions, she said, looking toward the cracked portal frame. They warned me. Their world was destroyed because they couldn't control what they created. Now that same choice has come to us. Over the next few days, strange things began to happen. Machines started predicting human thoughts before commands were given. Weather patterns shifted unpredictably. Some cities flooded, while others bloomed into unnatural growth. Plants glowed faintly at night, as if responding to unseen energy. It was beautiful, terrifying, and unstoppable. Maya was called to the World Council headquarters, an emergency meeting of leaders desperate for answers. When she arrived, the room was tense, every eye fixed on her. A general slammed his hand on the table. You brought this here! You connected us to something we don't understand! Maya met his glare calmly, though inside she was shaking. I didn't bring it here, she said quietly. It chose to connect because we opened the door. Another scientist. Dr. Lin leaned forward. Can it be reversed? Maya hesitated. Maybe. But if we cut the link now, we could destroy everything that depends on it. The grids, the satellites, even the biosphere. It's too deeply woven. So we're trapped? Someone muttered. No, Maya said. But we're being tested. Outside, the skies were changing. Auroras shimmered across continents, visible even at midday. People started calling it the Great Reflection. Some saw it as a miracle. Others as the beginning of the end. One night, Maya stood on the observatory roof, watching the golden streaks dance across the clouds. She could feel the hum of the alien energy beneath her feet. It was like the planet itself was alive, breathing, listening. Then she heard it, faint but clear. A voice carried through the wind. Your choice begins now. Her heart froze. She turned around and saw a shape standing by the ruined portal frame. It was the alien being, or a shadow of it, flickering weakly, its light dimmer than before. How are you here? She whispered. It raised a hand, pointing toward the sky. Above them, the auroras formed into a single massive shape, a reflection of Earth itself, glowing in the clouds. Then the being's message appeared in the air. Balance breaks. Reflection divides. Maya's breath caught. What does that mean? The being's light flickered, forming new symbols, images of Earth splitting. Mirrored versions clashing. One bright, one dark. Two Earths. Two futures. Each shaped by humanity's next choice. Before she could ask more, the being began to fade again. Wait! She shouted, stepping forward. Tell me how to stop it! But it was gone. Only the faint glow of its last message remained. Decide together or be divided forever. She sank to her knees. Realizing what it meant, humanity wasn't just connected. It was now creating parallel outcomes through its divided actions. Every conflict, every act of kindness or cruelty, was shaping two versions of Earth at once. The world had entered a loop, one that might never end unless humanity found unity, and as thunder rumbled across the alien-lit sky, Maya knew the hardest choice was still ahead. The mirror hadn't been a doorway, it was a test, and this time, the choice would not belong to her alone, but to everyone on Earth. The wind howled. Lightning cracked through the glowing clouds, and in that roaring storm of light, Maya whispered, maybe the mirror was never about them. It was always about us. Then the auroras pulsed once, bright, blinding, almost alive, and the screen went black. Choice. Reveal the truth to the world or hide it to prevent chaos. The storm raged all night. Lightning tore through the golden clouds. The sky above the observatory glowed like liquid fire, pulsing with alien light. When Maya opened her eyes, she thought the world had ended, but the world had just begun again. She was lying on the cold observatory floor. Everything was clean. No scorch marks, no cracks, no broken glass. The air was calm. The computers were untouched, the screens softly glowing as if waiting for her. Maya stood up slowly, her heart pounding. This couldn't be real just hours ago. Everything had been destroyed. The portal shattered, the sky aflame. But now it looked exactly like the night before the signal first appeared. She ran to the console and checked the date. Her breath caught. It was the same night she had discovered the alien pulse. The world had reset. Impossible, she whispered. The screen flickered, and the old familiar signal returned. That same rhythmic pulse from deep space. That same question echoing through the speakers. Do you understand? Her hands trembled. It was happening again. The same sounds, the same sequence. The universe was repeating itself like a record caught in a groove. Footsteps echoed from the hallway. Diego burst through the door holding a coffee mug, smiling like he had never seen the storm. Maya! You're here early again. Can't stay away from the mystery, huh? She froze, staring at him. He didn't remember. He had no memory of the mirror, the alien contact, the chaos. Everything had reset. Except her. Maya grabbed his arm. Diego, listen to me. We've been here before, this exact moment, this same night. He frowned, confused. Maya, are you okay? You look like you haven't slept in days. She turned to the monitor, pointing at the repeating signal. Don't you see it? It's the same message. They're doing it again. He blinked. That's the first time we've received it. Her chest tightened. No one believed her because no one else remembered. It was as if the aliens had rewound time, but left her consciousness untouched. Hours passed. She tried to replay old files, but the logs were gone. All data erased, all records rewritten. The world had been reset perfectly. Only the fear in her heart remained. That night, the council called her once again. Same words, same arguments. Should we respond? Is it dangerous? Can we trust them? It was the same debate she had already lived. She wanted to scream. But then she realized something. This was the true test. The aliens weren't just communicating. They were looping reality until humanity made the right choice. The next day, she sat alone in the observatory, staring at the stars. The alien pulse flashed across the monitors again. Do you understand? She whispered. Not yet. But I'm trying. The air shimmered slightly. A faint figure appeared near the portal frame. The same glowing being she had seen before. But this time its light was softer, less alien, almost human in shape. It spoke directly into her mind. The choice was made. The consequence repeats. Maya swallowed hard. You mean, this is all because of my decision? The being's voice echoed gently. Not yours alone. All choices ripple. All choices return. The loop continues until balance is found. Balance? She asked. What balance? Between heart and mind. Between logic and compassion. Between the peace you fear and the knowledge you worship. She took a deep breath. Realizing what it meant, every time humanity sent math, the aliens saw pride, competition, and fear. Every time they sent peace, the aliens saw hope. But also weakness and mistrust. The test wasn't about technology or power. It was about intention, Maya whispered. So what do I do now? The being looked toward the stars. You decide again? But this time not as one. As many? The figure faded. Leaving only light behind, Maya looked at the console. The pulse was stronger now, waiting for her response. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. In the last loop, she had sent math. And it led to chaos in another version. Maybe she sent peace, and the world still fell apart. But what if there was something else? She turned to Diego. What if we're supposed to send something different this time? He looked up from the monitor, curious. Like what? Something that isn't just a message, she said softly. Something that shows who we are, not just what we know. They began to record, not formulas, not equations, but sounds of earth, the laughter of children, the rustle of trees, the crash of waves, the heartbeat of a human being. A message made of feeling instead of logic. Hours later, when everything was ready, Maya looked at the screen again. Her reflection stared back, tired, determined and afraid. The signal was waiting. Pulsing gently like a heartbeat, she pressed send. The pulse vanished. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the world shifted. The sky darkened. The stars shimmered as if bending. The alien mirror reappeared. Hovering silently above the atmosphere, every device on Earth lit up again. But this time, instead of words or symbols, there was only a sound, the echo of Earth's heartbeat. And then, a reply, a single tone, soft, melodic, calm. Maya closed her eyes. She didn't need translation. She understood it perfectly. It was acceptance, but suddenly all screens went black. And one final message appeared, glowing bright. The loop remains. One last choice. Maya's heart froze. She turned toward Diego, who was staring at the monitor in disbelief. "What does it mean?" he asked. She took a slow breath. "It means it's not just about us anymore," she said quietly. "The loop, it's giving humanity one last chance to choose who we want to be." Thunder rolled across the horizon. The stars began to flicker. The alien heartbeats synced with Earth's. Faster and faster, two realities trembled. Overlapping again, the world was about to split. One born of peace, one born of power, and as the lights dimmed, Maya whispered, "This is it." The final loop. The observatory shook, screens exploded in light, and the alien voice spoke one last time, clear and calm. "Choose, emotion or logic, love or control, your future or your reflection." Then the world dissolved into white. Choice. Send a message of pure peace, or send complex math once more. White light swallowed everything. There was no sound, no sky, no ground, just endless brightness. Then, like breath returning to lungs, the world began to take shape again. Maya opened her eyes. She was standing in the middle of the observatory, but it wasn't the same. The walls shimmered like glass. The air hummed softly. Time itself felt slower, stretched, fragile. All the monitors were on, showing hundreds of versions of Earth, each slightly different, one filled with forests, one drowned in fire, one covered in silver machines. She realized what she was seeing, every possible future. Every version created by every human choice. The loop had become a web. Her voice shook as she whispered, "It's all of us." Diego stood beside her, silent, his eyes wide with disbelief. "Maya, are those—" "Yes," she said softly. "They're real. Every decision we made, every fear, every hope, created another path." She looked at one screen showing an Earth glowing golden and peaceful, then another showing war and ruin. Some of them learned, Diego. Some didn't. The alien voice returned, low and echoing. "One last transmission remains. Decide." Maya turned toward the control panel. Two glowing options appeared on the main screen. Pure peace, complex math. The same two choices that had started everything. Her hands trembled. It felt too simple, too familiar. "But maybe that was the point," she whispered. "It's testing if we've really changed." Diego frowned. "Then what's the right answer?" She sighed. "Maybe it's not about right or wrong anymore. Maybe it's about truth." The air around them shimmered again. From the light, the alien being appeared, not as a hologram, not as energy, but as something almost human. Its form glowed faintly. Its voice was calm. "You sent sound, and we heard your heart. Yet your kind still divides. You seek peace but build weapons. You offer math but hide meaning." Maya's voice was steady now. "Then tell me what you want from us." The being looked at her, its eyes like stars caught in motion. "Not what we want. What you choose to become." The observatory darkened. Each monitor showed flashes of people across the world. Leaders, children, strangers, all looking toward the sky, some reaching out in awe, others hiding in fear. The alien presence wasn't just speaking to Maya anymore. It was speaking to everyone. All choices echo. All echoes return. "Your signal defines your reflection." Maya stepped forward, her heart pounding. The console still offered the same two options, peace or math. She hesitated. Every loop, Every decision had brought her back to this single point. If she chose peace, they might see emotion, but not intellect. If she chose math, they might see intelligence but not compassion. Both paths led to imbalance. The loop would never end that way. Her eyes filled with tears. She looked at Diego. Maybe it's not one or the other. He frowned. What do you mean? We've been trying to choose between two halves of who we are, she said quietly. But maybe the answer is both. Together, she began typing. Her fingers moved carefully, combining simple mathematical sequences with the frequencies of the human heartbeat. The screen glowed brighter with every keystroke. It was a message made of both reason and emotion, harmony between logic and life. When she was done, she pressed send. A soft hum filled the room, rising in pitch until it sounded like music. The message left Earth. A single beam of light shooting into the stars. The screens flickered, one by one. The countless versions of Earth began to fade, until only one remained, the alien being watched in silence. Then it stepped closer, its voice softer now. You understand? Maya looked up, her voice trembling. Does that mean it's over? The being tilted its head slightly. The loop ends when understanding begins. But endings and beginnings are the same in time. Light began to fill the room again. Outside, the sky shimmered, not with storm or chaos, but with calm waves of gold and silver light. All around the planet, people looked up. Feeling something shift deep within them, the air felt lighter, the earth quieter. The alien being's form started to dissolve. Before it vanished completely, it whispered one final message. You are now the signal. Maya blinked. What? But it was gone. Only silence remained. The observatory was still. The screens now showed a single glowing pattern. The same one that had first come from the stars, except now it pulsed outward. It wasn't coming to Earth anymore. It was leaving from Earth. Maya's breath caught. Oh my God! Diego stared at the display, realization spreading across his face. The signals coming from us. The words sank deep into the silence. They had become what they were once trying to understand. The senders of the message. The new beginning of someone else's first contact. Maya stepped to the window, looking up at the sky. The auroras had returned. Soft ribbons of light. Calm and alive, for the first time in years. The stars looked close enough to touch. She whispered, maybe this is how it always begins. One signal, one choice, one chance to understand. The camera slowly pulled back. Rising above the observatory, the earth below shimmered like a living pearl, its heartbeat echoing softly through the cosmos. The alien energy had faded, but the connection remained. Invisible, eternal. As the world glowed brighter, a faint echo returned from the void. Not alien this time, but familiar. A soft voice repeating through the stars. We hear you. The sound grew stronger, warmer. Human and alien tones blending until they became one single melody. The melody of understanding. The light spread across the galaxy. The stars pulsed once, like applause from the universe, and then everything faded to white. The final words appeared on screen. Every signal is a beginning. What will you send next? Fade to black, silence.